Hey guys, this is going to be my April favorites video because having only started recently I don't think I should do any further back, but I have a whole lot of products, so I will start with skincare. I'm not a big skincare user. My budget is as tight as a nun's habit, so I really can't afford to buy a whole lot of it, but I got this in a recent goodie bag at an event at the mall. I'm going to another one this Thursday, so you'll probably get a huge haul video after that, because when my friend, there's only ever about 100 seats, and my friend and I, it doesn't start until 7, I think, 6 or 7, and my friend and I are getting there at 4:30 to line up, because last time we went we got the last 2 bags, and we don't want to miss out this time for being late, so we're going to have dinner at like 4:30. But this is the Natio Renew Radiance Eye Cream, which I am in love with, and I hope it focuses. I think it will. But it's got pomegranate and vitamin C, so it brightens the area as well, because I have hideously bad dark circles. I always have. I have really high cheeks, and so it always just creates this massive sort of like really dark area. And this has been working really well for me, and it's Natio is really nice because they use sort of a lot of, you know, nice. I'm not a big scented product person, and if it doesn't smell nice I won't use something. But this one, it's, what's in it? I'll actually find the ingredients. Things like sweet almond oil and pomegranate and rose geranium and lavender. And they don't smell really strongly. I'm not big on lavender. I like it, but if it's too strong I can't deal with it. But this one, you can only just smell it. Like, for me, because my mother's a botanist and she always had lots of flowers when I was younger, to me I can really smell the geranium in it. The rose geranium, I can really smell it. But it's really nice. Like, it comes out, I'll put some on my hand for you. It comes out, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's almost it's not quite a cream, but it's not quite a gel, it's sort of halfway in between, and it just smooths out really nicely, and I've got a huge amount of foundation on my hand, but that's alright. But it smooths out really nicely, and it dries quickly, and it's not greasy, which I can't stand. So that is my absolute most favourite skincare product at the moment, because it's actually been helping. Don't like when I buy products and it says, oh, it does this and this and this, and then you use it and it does sort of like 1 or 2, but this, all it is supposed to do is, you know, get rid of fine lines, which I don't have yet, but it seems to be stopping them coming, and dark circles, and it's been helping so well. So if you find that, I can't remember, I don't know the price for it, it'll be on the Natio website, which I will link down below on the bottom. But yeah, I really like it, and their products are all really gorgeous, which leads me into my actual makeup, and another Natio product, which is their loose powder and translucent, and it's so nice. It just comes in a wee container like that, and that's the back label. And it is just so nice, and I'm really pale, and I found a lot of translucent powders actually have too much pigment in them, of all things. Even the translucents, I end up looking quite dark. Before I was using liquid foundation with this Natio powder, I was using the Chi Chi mineral powder, loose powder, and I found that even in their lightest colour it was too dark for me. And it didn't really give enough as much coverage as I wanted. I mean, if I'm really lazy, I'll still put it on in the morning. Like, if I'm rushed to get to uni, I'll just, you know, chuck some of my loose powder on and then just go. But I've also found with a lot of loose powders, they can be shiny. Like, I found them, like, almost pearlized, which is really not that useful. But this has a gorgeous matte finish, just absolutely brilliant. And it works with my cheap bling foundation, which was sort of like $5 for a wee tube of it, and it goes on perfectly, you can't tell, and it's just really nice finish, which I really like. And followed by that, I have a concealer, which I bought new this month, and it was very expensive for me to spend. It was $26, that's New Zealand dollars, so I'd say maybe about $20 US, I think. I'm not good in conversions in my head. But that is the HissyFit Skin Perfector Anti-Aging Concealer, and it looks like that, and I got Rose Beige, and for me, because I am so pale, concealers are the worst to find. I mean, foundation you can usually find in a lighter shade, or I did previously used to mix. I have a white foundation that I bought for a while ago, because I have darkened a wee bit recently. Towards the end of summer I darkened quite a bit, but last winter I was just so pasty, and I bought a white foundation, which was working really well, but once I got slightly, not really darker, but a wee bit darker, I couldn't use it anymore. So I had been blending that with normal foundation, but concealers have been the worst for me to find. I was previously using an Australia's Corrector pen, not pen, it's a crayon. It looks like a crayon, I don't have it on me. But and the thing is, the coverage was awful with it, because it was like a, you know, like an oil pastel crayon, and you'd sort of just, you couldn't do it on your hand first because then it would just stick to your hand. You had to actually put it on your face with the actual tube, which I didn't like. I prefer to put it on my hand and use a brush. And to get any coverage, you'd end up with a really cakey look, but this stuff's amazing, and you need the tiniest amount, and it just covers everything, and everything's gone, and it's just perfect. And it smells really good. It's got green tea and pomegranate in it, and it's just so nice, and it, like, the scent is okay. Like, I find a lot of concealers that have, you know, different things in them, it's just not that nice to smell. Like, you can, it's sort of florally, and then it gets to, the undertones aren't as nice, but this is just, it just smells like, you know, really fresh green tea with a tiny hint of pomegranate, sort of. Yeah, it's just really nice. It does have a slight cosmetic smell, which, if you really don't like cosmetic smells, I wouldn't say go with it, because it's not completely just green tea and pomegranate flavored, but it's so nice. And I also had to laugh because it's by the brand HissyFit, and my partner thought it was absolutely appropriate for me. So that is my favourite concealer now. I only bought it this month, and even though it's a really small tube, like it is, it'll say on here, it's 15 mils, so 0.5 of an ounce, which is quite small, really. But because you only need a tiny bit, like I've been using it, like, if you've seen sushi rice once it's been cooked, and it's like, I've been using about that much to do all of the concealing on my face. Like, that is my whole chin area, because I have a lot of reddening there, and a wee bit of acne scar from when I was at high school. Both sides of my nose, under my eyes, and my forehead, and that is just, you only need a tiny amount, and it dries quickly, and it's not, you know, it doesn't crack, it doesn't wear off. I've noticed it wears off less than my foundation does, which is frustrating, because when you have to reapply, you have to avoid all the areas where you put concealer. But it's so good. But the other thing that I love about this is I can wear this without foundation and it still looks okay. I've been, when I bought it, I didn't have any makeup on because I wanted to go into the shop with a completely fresh face to find one, and the woman helped me pick this one out, and then I put it on just on my chin, around my nose, and on my under eyes, and it was just, it looked natural, because I found with my previous concealer, the Australia's crayon, I don't know what it's really called, I think it's called a cover stick, that's what it's called, Australia's cover stick. With that, you could tell if I had it on its own, but with this, it blends out really well. It just blends perfectly. You know, you can't see any edges to it. It's just great. So I am completely in love with this, and if you see it somewhere, get it. It is worth the money. Because here it is expensive for a concealer. I mean, most concealers would only end up being about 20 New Zealand dollars, but this one's like 26, and that is expensive, but it is so good, and it is worth it. So after that, I have eye makeup. I don't have a favourite eyeshadow. I notice everyone always has eyeshadows, but I only have one set of eyeshadow that I wear constantly, which I'm wearing today, which is it's a Loreal Made For Me Naturals, and it's made for light brunettes, which I know doesn't match my hair colour because I have very dark hair, but the one for people with blue eyes wasn't the right sort of colour for me, but this one works amazingly, and I find that it works a lot better to highlight my eyes, because a lot of makeup I put on and my eyes sort of go quite dull because they are a grey blue rather than a really true blue, so quite often I have to be careful with what I put on, because otherwise it just looks like I have grey eyes, which isn't that attractive. But the other reason I got it is that when I was born, I had white blonde hair, absolutely white blonde hair, and I sort of went to a, you know, light sort of dirty blonde by the time I was like 7, and then by the time I hit high school I had this colour here, which is just really dark, really, really dark, not quite black. But it meant that my eyebrows never actually followed along with that. My eyebrows stayed quite light, so the light brunette eyebrow palette that's in there is really good for me. And next I have an eyeliner pen, which I love. I'm really not very good with liquid eyeliner. I do have one which I bought for about $1.50 at a cheap store at the mall, which I like because it's very, very, very black and almost sort of looks like patent leather when you put it on. It's quite shiny, which I like some days but not always. And so when I don't want to wear that, I have an E.L.F waterproof eyeliner pen, which looks like that, and it has it honestly looks like a felt tip pen. It's so great, just like really nice marker tip, and it is quite long. I don't know if you can see that, but it is quite long, and it can do like really thick lines, or it can do like really fine ones like that, and I just love it. It is so easy to use, and it just goes on, and it comes off really easily too. I always have a problem with liquid eyeliners because you put them on and then when you want them to come off they don't always want to, and so that can be really frustrating. But I love this one, and it's great because I found with a lot of marker eyeliner pens like this, they dry out while you're trying to use them. I'm not really fast with my eyeliner. It can take me a couple of goes over to get it right. But I found a lot of them dry out and you sort of have to put the cap back on and shake them for a few minutes before they'll actually work again. But this one I can do both eyes, I can take almost as long as I want, and it just goes on and it's great. And after that I have a new one, which I bought because my previous mascara was, it was a CoverGirl one. It was in a purple container. I don't remember what it was called. I'd had it for so long that the label had worn off. And it was great, and I loved it to pieces. And when I went back to buy a new one, my sister said that I should get one that she has, which is the Maybelline Define-a-Lash Volume Mascara. Because, as with my eyebrows, I have really light eyelashes. They're actually quite long on their own. It's just that halfway down them, they go from being sort of a brown to a white blonde. So it doesn't look like I have long ones. I envy my sister so much because she is the blonde in the family. She's actually dyed her hair red now. She's red at the moment, I think. But she has really, really dark eyelashes, and they're long and gorgeous and curl on their own, and it's great. But the first time I used this, I wasn't impressed with it because of how my eyelashes are quite straight, because of how straight they are, I always curl them first. And having never tried this, I just assumed I needed to, and it made my eyes look awful. It didn't look quite right. But when I tried it without curling first, it's amazing, and it looks like I've curled them when I haven't. So if I'm in a rush, I don't have to. But it has nice pop when it opens. I love the brush shape. It's sort of, it goes wider at the end and then thinner in the middle and then wider and then thin at the very tip. And it's one of the rubbery brushes. I can't stand bristle brushes. I've never liked them. And when they started coming out with these with like nice rubber bristles on them, I was just so excited because I find them so much easier to use. They don't clump. They just work the way I want them to. But I like this this particular one because they do a volumizing one and they do a defining one, and then this one does both because their Define-a-Lash is their standard, you know, defining one, and then they have a separate one for volume. And I was just like to my sister, well, I need both, and it actually does both. Like my eyelashes, you can, like, it coats the whole way to the tip and they look really long. And really well defined, which is what my previous one did, the CoverGirl one that I used to have. It defined really well, but it wasn't so good on the whole volume thing. But this one is so great for volume, and it's amazing. I was stunned when I put it on. My sister has been using it since it first came out and swears by it. And so I was really pleased she suggested it because I wouldn't have thought of trying it because I generally stick with one product once I know it works, and since I couldn't find my other one, I was a bit upset.